Okay, I want to spend 5 minutes talking to you about what I think is probably the most important area for AI and generative AI over the next 4 or 5 years, which is a change in the way that we create demand in organizations. There's a number of things for this. First of all, I think we're going to continue to see unbelievable productivity of organizations, and there will be continued global trading. We have an amazing amount of ownership by private equity in the markets, and that is going to create a lot of pressure to create new demand and to sell better and to service better and win more customers. Because if you look at private equity, which owns a big piece of the economy, their returns have largely been an arbitrage between 8 or 9% financing down to 4, because you can turn around and sell those cash flows for a bigger number. So a lot of their economic return was actually a trade in the marketplace, not operating. They're going to have to operate now. Paul, if we go back to the slides, that'd be great.
Yep.
And so the fundamental thing that has been going on is an enormous investment since 2011 in terms of things in demand creation, sales force enablement, media creation, everything from Jasper to Einstein is what's been going on. So you can see here over 14,000 companies and innovations in this domain. If we go next. There's activity across the entire sales funnel, from awareness, things like Jasper, the automation platform for marketing, to interest. You have folks like Drift looking at interaction and dialogue, nurturing things, Apollo and Lavender helping out with email and sequencing and so forth, actual sales execution, and then onboarding. That this whole process is being augmented with AI. Go to next. You have SEO content and content optimization, the kind of work that Rosemary does, sales automation, conversational AI, CRMs, co-pilots, and predictive analytics, saying, will this person buy from you, and how do we know, and even getting passive information on those individuals. Competitive intelligence for things like Clue and Crayon. And then you just have this evolution of sales platforms, everything from SalesLoft to HubSpot to Salesforce, and then the addition of some of these capabilities onto those sales platforms. We go next. So if you think about the sales funnel, there's intelligence being added at every step. Everything from the fundamental movement from question engines, that is things like Google, to answer engines, things like ChatGPT and Gemini, that over 40% of people in some categories, such as electronics, are actually getting their answers and their product recommendations from the answer engines. So that $600 billion that is in nonlinear advertising is getting rerouted. Then you have all this other activity in terms of client intelligence and massive custom content customization. So what's going to happen here? I think, first of all, we're going to see adding intelligence to the current processes, the kind of things that I've just been going through. Phase 2 is really a reinvention of that interaction process and content. I was talking to a friend of mine over at Google Research just last week, and he is working on stuff which looks like he could do what they call crossing the uncanny valley videos. That is, videos where you cannot tell whether it was real or not. And right now he is generating those at about 1 in 50. He thinks that within the year, he's going to be able to have at least 1 in 2, maybe only 10% that won't be so good that people won't be able to distinguish between real and fake. And that customization can come all the way down to the individual customer on an efficient basis. So we're going to reinvent that interaction process, and we're going from question to answer. And then phase 3, a little bit farther out, I think we're going to see agents and active markets on both sides, both the supply and the demand. People will have offers in terms of their agents. These are the kinds of things that we could sell. And then we'll have agents on the other side on the buy side. If we go to the last one. So what do you do in a world like this? The first thing is, wherever you are, whatever organization you're in, you want to make sure that you are first in the demand chain if you can be. That is, sense the demand first. Second, do not trust the platforms. You need to have your own audience. So if you're an artist or a company or a service organization, you need to know who is buying your actual product or service, not just at the company level, but at the individual level. And I believe you need their emails, because if you're using a platform to get to them, especially any of, like Meta or Google and so forth, it can change the nature of your algorithm that puts you in front of clients, and you won't have that presence. Technology and capital is going to drive massive capacity, which is going to mean that competitive intensity is going to go up, and creativity is definitely going to matter. But I think that we are at a point where the whole demand creation and service process is changing radically. So there's two things that are going to be needed at a high level. One is the pace of execution is going to have to be faster. And second, the integration across marketing and sales and service is going to have to be tighter than it ever has before if you want to win in this new environment. So I think those are some of the strategic implications of this massive investment and reinvention of the demand creation process.